Hi everyone, Dexter here. Today I'm going to talk about consignation. There are two situations in which court receive consignations. The first one is a party with existing case is consigning an amount, and there should be court's commission. So either based on section 7K of Rule 141 for second level courts, or section 8N of Rule 141 in case of first level courts. The other situation is when a party is consigning an amount but without existing case. So a case should be filed. So whether at first or second level regular courts. What is consignation? Article 1256 of the Civil Code enumerates the cases in which consignation may be availed of. Article 1256 provides if the creditor to whom tender of payment has been made refuses without just cause to accept it, the debtor shall be released from responsibility by the consignation of the thing or sum due. Consignation alone shall produce the same effect in the following cases. First, when the creditor is absent or unknown or does not appear at the place of payment. Second, when he is incapacitated to receive the payment at the time it is due. Third, when without just cause, he refuses to give a receipt. Fourth, when two or more persons claim the same right to collect. And fifth, when the title of the obligation has been lost. In the case of Asque versus Court of Appeals, GR number 84330 dated May 8, 1991, the SC ruled, consignation is the act of depositing the thing due with the court or judicial authorities whenever the creditor cannot accept or refuses to accept payment, and it generally requires a prior tender of payment. Two of the requisites of a valid consignation are, first, that there is a debt due, and second, the amount due is placed at the disposal of the court. Thus, where no debt is due and owing, consignation is not proper. In a valid consignation, where the thing sought to be deposited is a sum of money, the amount of the debt due is determinable. Clearly, the subject matter, that is the amount due, in consignation cases is capable of pecuniary estimation. This amount sought to be consigned determines the jurisdiction of the court. So, consignation case is one that is capable of pecuniary estimation. So, the jurisdiction of the case depends on the amount due or the amount involved. So, whether it is the jurisdiction of the first regular court or the second regular court. So, the current jurisdictional amount is, if it's not exceeding 2 million pesos, it's the first level regular court's jurisdiction. And if it's more than 2 million, it's the jurisdiction of the RTC. So further, in the case of spouses Oscar and Telma Kakayurin versus AFP-MB AI, GR number 171298, dated April 15, 2013, the SC ruled, consignation is necessarily judicial. Article 1258 of the Civil Code specifically provides that consignation shall be made by depositing the thing or things due at the disposal of judicial authority. The said provision clearly precludes consignation in venues other than the courts. The settled principle is that the allegations of the complaint determine the nature of the action and consequently the jurisdiction of the courts. This rule applies whether or not the plaintiff is entitled to recover upon all or some of the claims asserted therein, as this is a matter that can be resolved only after and as a result of the trial. So taken from the case of Bulao versus Court of Appeals, GR number 101983, dated February 1, 1993, 218 SCRA 321. So page 323. Citing Magay versus Estiandan, 161 Philippine Reports, 586 519, 1976. So I prepared a case here. So an actual case under GR number 171298, dated April 15, 2013. I only changed the amount involved here from 77,000 plus to 2.1 million pesos for purposes of computation. This case was filed before the regional trial court. So, the respondent here, in this case, claimed that it is a wrong venue. So, he asserted that it should have been filed before the HLURB. However, the Supreme Court ruled otherwise. So, the SC said that consignation case should be filed before a regular court. So, although the case should have been filed before the MTCC, but it's moot and academic. Back to the facts of the case. So, Oscar is a member of Respondent Armed Forces and Police Mutual Benefit Association Incorporated, or AFP-MBAI. Mutual Benefit Association duly organized and existing under Philippine laws and engaged in the business of developing low-cost housing projects for personnel of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. He filed an application with AFP-MBAI to purchase a piece of property which the latter owned located at San Pedro, Puerto Princesa City. So, through a loan facility, Oscar and his wife on one hand, and the Rural Bank of San Teodoro, the Rural Bank, on the other hand, executed a loan and mortgage agreement with the former as borrowers and the Rural Bank as lender under the auspices of Pag-ibig or Home Development Mutual Funds Home Financing Program. The Rural Bank issued letter of guarantee informing AFP-MBAI that the proceeds of petitioner's approved loan in the amount of 2 million pesos will be released to AFP-MBAI after title to the property is transferred in petitioner's name and after the registration and annotation of the parties' mortgage agreement. On the basis of the Rural Bank's letter of guarantee, AFP-MBAI executed in petitioner's favor a deed of absolute sale and a new title, Transfer Certificate of Title number 12345 or TCT number 12345 was issued in their name with the corresponding annotation of their mortgage agreement with the Rural Bank under entry number 4321. Unfortunately, the Pag-ibig loan facility did not push through and the Rural Bank closed and was placed under receivership by the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation or PDIC. Meanwhile, AFP-MBAI somehow was able to take possession of petitioner's loan documents and TCT number 12345. While petitioners were unable to pay the loan consideration for the property, AFP-MBAI made oral and written demands for petitioners to pay the loan consideration for the property. Confused where to pay, Oscar decided to file a complaint for consignation of loan payment, recovery of title, and cancellation of mortgage annotation against AFP-MBAI, PDIC, and the Register of Deeds of Puerto Princesa City. So Oscar prayed first that after the filing of this complaint, an order be made allowing the consignation of 2,100,000 pesos. Second, for the court to compute and declare the amount of interest to be paid by the complainant and thereafter to allow the consignation of the interest payments in order to give way for the full discharge of the loan. Third, to order the AFP-MBAI to turn over to the custody of the court the loan records and title, the TCT number 12345 of the plaintiffs, if the same are in their possession. Fourth, to declare the full payment of the principal loan and interest and ordering the full discharge from mortgage of the property covered by TCT number 12345. And fifth, to order the Register of Deeds of Puerto Princesa City to cancel the annotation of real estate mortgage under entry number 4321 at the back of TCT number 12345. And the last prayer thereafter, to turn over to the complainant their title free from the aforesaid mortgage loan. Now we're going to analyze the prayer. So where should the case be filed? So whether it's in the first level regular court or the second level regular court. So the prayer, the amount involved here, consigned amount is 2 million pesos. 2,100,000 pesos. So the jurisdictional amount for, if it's exceeding 2 million, it's the second level regular court. So it's the jurisdiction of the RTC. Okay, this would be the number one basis of computation in the assessment of legal fees. The second prayer, for the court to compute and declare the amount of interest to be paid by the complainant and thereafter to allow the consignation. So we don't have a monetary value here to include in the computation. So it's just asking the computation, the total amount of interest. So if the court arrived at the amount of interest and the complainant will consign the amount, there would be a court commission for that amount. Okay, so it's no need to include this in the assessment of legal fees, so no value here. The third, to order the AFP, MBAI to turn over the custody of the court, the loan record, so no monetary value also here. So fourth prayer, to declare the full payment of the principal loan and interest and ordering the full discharge from mortgage of the property, so no monetary value. E, the fifth one, to order the Register of Deeds of Puerto Princesa City to cancel the annotation of real estate mortgage under entry number 4321 at the back, so no monetary value also. And the last prayer, thereafter, to turn over to the complainant their title free from the aforesaid mortgage loan, so no monetary value also. So the basis of the computation would be the 2,100,000 pesos, the only amount, the amount involved. Okay, now we're going to do the computation. So consignation case for second level courts. So the jurisdiction of the case is under the RTC, 2.1 million, the amount involved. Okay, so no, the complainant did not ask for the payment of attorney's fees or litigation costs, so 0. Okay, so the total amount involved is 2.1 only. Okay, so the number of respondents there, 3. The AFP-MBAI, the Pag-ibig, and the Register of Deeds of Puerto Princesa. So 3 summons fee. So the procedure to determine the total amount involved, so the 2.1 million. The second is get equivalent fee of the total amount involved under graduated rates of Section 7A. So the basis of the computation would be Section 7A. So the sum of the filing fees under Section 7A and the miscellaneous fees. So the miscellaneous fee here are the summons fees and add the other fees. Okay. So for JDF, so the computation, so 1.8. So for 400,000 pesos, the share of JDF is 1,850 plus the difference of 2.1 and the 400,000 pesos divided by 1,000. So for every 1,000, JDF has a share of 8 pesos. Okay, so the sum of that equation is 15,450. So 15,450 for JDF. Okay, and for SAJ, it's 23,050. So how did we arrive that amount? So this is the computation. So 2,650,000, and the equivalent fee, filing fee, in the amount of 400,000 pesos. So the difference of 2.1 and 400 divided by 1,000 times the share of such for every 1,000, the 12 pesos. So the sum is 23,050. Okay, so this is the filing fees. The total filing fee, 38,500, and this 38,500 will be the basis in the computation of LRF. Okay, that's why it's 385 pesos. And the miscellaneous fee, this is the summons fee, so 600. There are 3 summons fee to be issued. Okay, plus 500 mediation fee, 5 pesos for VCF. And the total docket fees or legal fees, 39,990 plus 1,000 STF. So the total amount to be paid is 40,990. Okay, if the case shall be filed before the RTC. Okay? So, assuming na the amount involved falls under the jurisdiction of first level court. Okay? I prepared also computation for first level court. So, assuming the amount involved there is only 1.5 million. Okay? So, the computation would be the basis of the computation shall be under section 8A. So, again, the maximum amount here in section 8A is 400,000 pesos. So, the amount involved here is 1.5. Okay? But the computation in excess of 400,000 shall be computed using the section 7A8. Okay? So, 3 commons also. So, the formula for JDF is okay. So 1,850 to the difference of 400,000, the 1.5 minus 400,000 divided by 1,000 is 8 pesos for JDF. The total filing fee for JDF is 10,650. For Saj, using the same computation, 16,350. The computation, so 3,150 equals 3,150 plus B12, this is the B12 minus 400,000 divided by 1,000 times 12 pesos. So the answer is, okay, let's zoom, 16,350 sa the filing fee, 27,000 pesos. So this will be the basis of the LRF, 270 pesos. Plus 600, 500 MF, 5 pesos BCF. So the total legal fees or docket fees is 28,375 plus STF 1,000. So total amount to be paid is 29,375. Okay, that will be the amount to be paid using the section 7A8. Okay, and of course there should be a legal fees form for RTC. Okay, and the first level court, if it's first level court, may legal fees form also. So break down the OR numbers, the amount, so the total amount to be paid. So the total claims or amount involved should be put here. Okay, 2.1. Okay, so alright, thanks for watching. If you like this video, you may consider sharing and make sure to subscribe for more. Bye!